Takealot is rejecting more sellers than ever before in 2025. It's always been difficult, yes, to get into Takealot, but it was usually due to just bad applications, people not putting in the effort, and it was pretty easy to help people get accepted. This year, I've been having so many people comment, and even my video on how to get into Takealot is busy skyrocketing at the moment with views because people are struggling. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 3 biggest reasons why people are being rejected by Takealot. And this actually comes from inside information. Let's not waste any of your time. Let's get into it. In 2025, people are essentially being rejected for 3 main reasons, right? Which we're going to go over now. But before I do want to point out, and this applies to last year, 2 years ago, all the time, including 2025. These are the 3 reasons that you're being rejected, okay? But there's some of you're over here, all right? You're not even in this reason. This over here is just absolutely horrible applications to start with. People that don't fill out all the information, they don't provide enough information, they have horrible products, product choices, very generic items, essentially just a bad application. That's not going to change. That is absolutely always going to get you rejected. So please, I'm trusting that you are not in this category. But we're going to talk about these 3 main reasons why people are being rejected in 2025. Now, the first one and the absolute biggest one, this one over here, is unfortunately making pretty difficult on Takealot in 2025. I was quite surprised to hear how strict Takealot has gotten about this, but this is at the moment the biggest reason people are getting rejected, and it is because you do not have branded items. Now, up until now, people could still get accepted, and I've helped at least 12 people get accepted with generic items. A couple of those people actually had brand, but in general, you could get on with generic white label brands, like just plain items. But I have found way more of you busy messaging, DMing me, emailing, and some of those that I work one-on-one with that have been rejected. And then when I go over their application, they've got a great application, loads of information, everything that you need. And even I've been a bit confused why. And it wasn't until I got the inside information that I found out that it's because Takealot is focusing now on branded items. So if you're already a Takealot seller, no problem. I can still list for now unbranded items, white label items, and there's a very high likelihood of it being accepted. But if you're applying for the first time, competition has just gotten too tough. And I think Takealot I think it's a good thing, to be quite honest. The amount of people that want to apply and just sell plain generic items from Takealot, from like Team and stuff, where they're buying and selling, it is getting a little bit intense. It's not good for you. To be quite honest, I'm happy that you're getting rejected for this reason, because a lot of people have signed up, they've gotten in, they've gone to go buy cheap generic items without doing product research. And what happens is they're not making any money. Maybe they're making some sales, but they're not making any profit, and it's actually just more of a stress, and you may even be losing money. So it makes it way more difficult, but I think that's a good thing, right? I'm sure you can agree. Some of the most growth you've ever experienced through difficulty, right? So this is by far number 1 reason you do not have branded items. And I just want to clarify, branded over here doesn't need to mean that it's Nike or Adidas or whatever other brands, the first ones that came to mind. It doesn't need to be a huge brand. It could be your own brand. So for example, this one's nice and scratched up, but this over here is a Brew Better product, right? So we own this brand. And this we can still sell, and this is how we got into Takealot for the first time. We did coffee niche, something that I worked in and I was passionate about. We get it custom manufactured and branded with unique pieces in smaller quantities, and that counts as a brand, right? We also do have our own website and e-commerce site as well. So don't think it needs to be a huge brand. It can, as long as it's branded. Now, the last 2 biggest reasons all kind of fall in within this. If you're branded, essentially Takealot, the section over here, that's also pretty big to them based on the email that I received, or the email that got shared with me, is social proof. So what I mean by social proof over here, you'll see they kind of all interlink. But essentially, if you have a brand that's more reputable, whether it's yours or someone else's, with the gooseneck kettle, it is branded. It's got a logo and it says Brew Better. The issue is if that's the only place where it is, and I don't have any social media accounts, I don't have a website, I haven't presented a very nice brochure, I don't have any ties to the brand, then I don't have enough social proof. And then I've increased my chances of being accepted way more, but I could still be rejected for that reason, just not having enough social proof. This could be a quick fix. things like just setting up some social media accounts, an Instagram account. If you are selling a brand, even if it's a smaller local brand, South African, maybe international, have some documentation from them. Maybe it's an email saying that you have the rights to sell their items, that you have a relationship with them. You can even put that in a nice brochure. When we first got set up, I also mentioned that I was the sole distributor for a product, and that was a product from the United States. And we got that by just reaching out to a bunch of people, trying to show what we were trying to do, how we were going to try to reach out to the different channels. And then, many people replied, sorry, we weren't big enough. They weren't impressed enough, essentially. But we kept on going, and through a few connections, we were able to get sole distributorship as well. Now, that's not for everyone. That comes with a lot of responsibility, and you have to meet certain sales volumes each year. I'm just giving you this information so you can kind of think maybe some of these things are giving you some ideas, or maybe you know a brand already that you think you could reach out to. The last one over here is kind of, I wanted to make it a pretty thin slice over here, just because if you have these two, I would think that you have a very good chance of getting in. But this over here is your own website. And when I say your own website, I don't mean another marketplace where you've technically got a website, but you've got some coffee equipment, you've got plant stuff, you've got baby things, and you're showing them that because, again, they're wanting some credibility over here. They're wanting something unique to offer buyers and to really grow the Takealot platform for our customers, which is a good thing again. Makes it more difficult. The barrier to entry gets a little bit higher, a little bit more difficult, but that's good. That means a lot of bad applications are going to be chucked out. And if we're being rejected over and over, we might just need to look inside just to see maybe it's our product choices, maybe our products are just not that good. So over here, it's your own website, right? What we did with that is we set up in the beginning, maybe you can't get your own domain, which I would recommend. The domain is pretty cheap. It's only 99 Rand a year in most cases for .co.za. And then you have a professional domain. That's already going to stand out. If you do that, you could get the email hosting. Maybe that's another 39 Rand a month or so through some places. And then you have a professional email. So for us, it's Brewbetter. So let's say our website is brewbetter.co.za. And then the email address is obviously, info@brewbetter or hello@brewbetter, whatever the case is. So that on your application is already going to stand out to Takealot as well. Now, don't focus on that and forget about having good products. Remember, I didn't even cover bad products here because that should just be obvious. So we still need good products. We still need to have some credibility. We still need to have it branded. But if we really want to go that extra step, and if we want to make a success of that brand, then having the extras is not going to do any harm. We could have the own site. You can go and set up a Shopify site straight away. We did that, but we did that with the intention to also make sales on Shopify, which we have been able to because we stuck to a need. So again, if you're going to sell a mixture of all kinds of products, put them under the same brand name, your conversion rates are probably going to be pretty sucky, to be honest with you. And that's understandable, right? You want to trust the company when you go on. So if you go out for beauty products and it's really well-crafted beauty website, you're going to build more trust. But if they also sell a pram and they also sell pots and some lights and some filming gear, you're going to be very confused. It's going to make you not want to buy it. So if you think it suits it, I would go for that. I wouldn't necessarily spend more money if you're not sure that you're wanting to make this work, if you don't have a business plan, so to call it, for having your own website. But there are some free options out there that aren't going to be amazing, but to show Takealot at least, you'll have something. And I really want to make clear something with this, is that you shouldn't be doing this just to get in. Please, please, please. I'm on a few community groups, and a lot of people are complaining that people are faking their way into Takealot, and as soon as they get accepted, they're just going off and buying cheap items and trying to sell it. That's not good for anyone. People start having to compete on price, and it gets really intense for people, and it's just not worth it for you. So there's a lot that you could do to get in. But if you don't actually have a desire to do that and to sell that branded item and do that, Takealot may just not be for you in 2025. So many people reach out and I tell them, why do you want to sell on Takealot? If you watch these videos and you feel inspired, that's great. But if you're inspired because you think this is a get-rich-quick scheme and I'll make a ton of money, at a nice restaurant, you're probably going to make more money for your first couple of months. Unless you have a lot of money as capital to start up, in which case you probably aren't really worried about these things. It's one of those catch-22s. You can make money. It can be great. You learn a ton of business things, stock control, stock management, inventory, cash flow. There's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of difficulty. So quick recap. Don't have a bad application, okay? Don't have bad products. please fill out all the information that you need. Take your time. Don't end up in this little island. If you've done that, have something branded. You can brand in small quantities, straight from a manufacturer, from Alibaba. Just make sure get some samples first. Negotiate minimum order quantities. Please don't go and order 5,000 units just to have your logo on it. There's ways that you can do that. That was a sample. We did one with our logo. We used that one. We took nice pictures, put it on our website, and we sold them. Then we ordered the batch. Sold on kind of like lead time, essentially. So you can be clever about that, please. Next, some social proof. Create a little Instagram page. Yes, you're going to have like no followers and there might be no one except for your mom liking it, but that's okay. Just create it for them to see. And then lastly, your own website. That's just, think of it like the cherry on the cake, okay? Don't spend all your time and energy making the most perfect thing. With social proof, you can create a brochure on Canva, literally drag and drop images in, put some prices, just make it look professional, right? And this effort is worth it. So how do you go from being rejected in 2025 to getting accepted? To getting accepted on your first try, or at least in your first few attempts or your next attempt? Well, in this video over here, I outline all of the steps to help you get accepted in 2025 and to overcome these challenges. Thank you so much.